Hello, coin collectors out there. Welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. You might have heard of me talk of the wartime nickels before, but this is my first video in which I've got all of them. So this is a complete set of the wartime nickels. Of course, not every nickel that was ever minted, just one from each mint each year. So up top right here, we have Philadelphia ones. So Philadelphia 1942, 43, 44, and 45. And then the Denver down here, there wasn't any 1942 Denver mint. So we start with 1943, Denver mint, 43, 44, and 45. Then down here at the bottom, we've got a San Francisco mint, 1942, 1943, 44, and 45. So let me just flip it over. And in this video, what we are going to do is talk about the mintages of these coins. That will be the primary focus. We'll also talk about the silver content, and we'll give a basic introduction to why they started using these rather than your standard copper, nickel, alloy nickels that we had previous to that. So before they introduced these ones right here, the Jefferson nickel started in 1938 and is being used all the way until today. Now they have switched up the reverses on it a little bit. From 2004, they started making those cool Westwood Journey nickels. So those were very cool, but other than that, the Jefferson nickel hasn't changed very much at all. So I flipped them all over. So now we can see the dates on them, 42, 43, 44, and 45. Now that should be the case going all the way down here. So we've got the Denver Mint 43, 44, and 45. And then we have the San Francisco Mint down here, which was this bottom row, 1942, 43, 44, and 45. So I'm going to remove these ones, slide these to the left, and we'll just start by talking about these two 1942s. Now 1942 is a little bit of an interesting year. Because it's a crossover transition year from your regular copper nickel alloy nickels to the wartime nickels. So a little bit of background here. World War II prompted the rationing of many commodities. Nickel was highly valued because of its use in armor plating, and Congress ordered the removal of this metal from the 5-cent piece effective October 8th, 1942. So that's why you can come across some 1942 nickels that are copper nickel alloy, and then some that are made out of this silver composition right here. So from that date, lasting through the end of 1945, 5-cent pieces bore the regular design, but were minted with an alloy of copper, silver, and manganese. So the exact composition is 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. It was anticipated that the emergency coins would be withdrawn from circulation after the war, so a prominent distinguishing feature was added. Now, can you guys guess what that prominent distinguishing feature is? If you looked at the top right here, that is the answer. The mint mark was enlarged when they put it on the back right here, so they moved it to the back and made it very big and very prominent, so that way they could identify it and pull it out of circulation. Coins from all three mints bore very large mint marks above Monticello, and the letter P was used for the mint mark for the first time on a U.S. coin. So that's a very cool feature as well. So prior to that, United States coins did not have the P mint mark on them. So if we look at this coin right here, this is a 1941 penny, and it doesn't have any mint marks on it. That's because it's from the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia was the first mint, so when they first started making coins there, they didn't need to put the mint mark on it because that's the only place that was making coins. So when they carried that over and started making it at the Denver and the San Francisco Mint, they didn't deem it necessary to identify the Philadelphia. The Philadelphia would be identified going forward as the coin that didn't have the mint mark on it. So this, we've been looking at the 1942 Philadelphia and Denver Mint, Philadelphia and San Francisco Mint, excuse me. Let me give you the mintages of these two coins, and then we'll talk about the mintages for the entire series, and then we'll get into some higher-end 1943 Philadelphia Mint nickels and tell you the value of those. So 1942, just looking at the silver versions, there were 57 million made at the Philadelphia, and there were 32 million made at the San Francisco. And now I'll talk about the mintages for the other coins. So we've got the year 1943 right here. We've got the trio of 1943 minted coins. We'll flip them over: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So in 1943, this is going to be the highest year of production for these coins. There are 271 of these ones that were made. So if you came across a 1943p, hoping that it would be worth a lot of money, unfortunately not, because there are 271 million of them that were made. There are 15 million that were made at the Denver, so quite a drop off between 271 and just 15. So this will be a hard one to add to your collection. And then 104 million that were made at the San Francisco Mint in the year 1943. So very high mintage, low mintage, and then high mintage for the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco Mint coins in the year 1943. All right, you guessed it, 1944 up next in the list of mintages. So we'll flip it over: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco Mint. Now these coins are all circulated, so they definitely wouldn't be worth getting graded, but they're still cool to have as a complete set. So we have right here 119 million made at the Philadelphia, 32 at the Denver, and 21 million at the San Francisco for the year 1944. So interestingly, 1944 San Francisco had the lowest mintage out of the three mints at just 21 million. And on to the final year. So they made these all the way through the end of 1945. So unlike 1942, which was a transition year, they used these all the way up through the end of the year. So you won't find any 1945s that are made of the copper nickel alloy. All right, so the mintages on these ones: 119 million made at the Philadelphia, just 37 million made at the Denver, and 58 million made at the San Francisco. So we start with some very high mintage at the Philadelphia, then go down a little bit, then slightly up a little bit to get to the San Francisco minted coins. So as far as the lowest mintage in the entire series, let me go back to, it should be this one right here, 1943. At the Denver Mint, lowest mintage in the entire series is the 1943 Denver Mint. Now, interestingly, the highest mintage in the whole series is this one right here. So they kind of overcompensated for all the little ones that they're making, the little mintage that they're making at the Denver Mint with the 1943 Philadelphia Mint. So 271 million, the highest mintage in the series. The lowest mintage in the series, just 15 million. Now, interestingly, with the 1943p, the 1943p is the only one that PCGS has graded a mint state 68 full steps, or a coin that has been graded a mint state 68 full steps has been graded, and that wasn't graded by PCGS, that was graded by NGC, but PCGS has a price guide on that of $14,000. So the mint state 68 comes to you from the highest mintage year of 1943 at the Philadelphia Mint. So that shouldn't be a surprise. There are also a couple of different errors that are involved with the 1943p. You should look out for the 1943/42 overdate, as well as the 1943 double die obverse. So 1943, a very interesting year, because probably they're making so many of them that increases the likelihood that they would make some mistakes. So there are a couple different mistakes out there: the 1943/42 overdate, as well as the 1943 double die obverse, the DDO, for the 1943 Philadelphia Mint. All right, everyone, that's all I've got. As far as the silver, I should mention, as far as the silver melt value of these coins go, the melt value is only worth around 81 cents currently. So the silver melt of these are 81 cents. However, if you're going to sell them to a coin collector, you might be able to get around $1 for them. And there are hundreds of millions of them made. So best of luck, and good luck pulling these out of circulation if you're coin roll hunting, or maybe you've already got some of these saved up. Thank you very much, everyone, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy.